I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Dave's Take. Today we were talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, the latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So Deadpool and Wolverine is about Deadpool and Wolverine, and they have to team up to save the day, and I'm going to leave it at that. Because there's a lot of hype around this film, people are really looking forward to it, so of course I'm going to keep this spoiler free. But I'm not going to lie, it's going to be hard to dance around some plot points because there's a lot to talk about. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is at a weird crossroads right now. It seems like the films haven't been that great lately, except for a couple. It feels like there isn't a real direction in where it wants to go. I might be speaking for everyone here or no one at all, but in my opinion, it feels like Deadpool and Wolverine had a lot to live up to. It had a lot of unnecessary responsibilities because of the state of the MCU. It felt like a lot was riding on this movie. Like, if it's good, it would ignite the MCU again, but if it's bad, it's more of the same old, except for a couple of projects. So will Deadpool and Wolverine save the MCU? I'm not really sure. I definitely don't have the answer to that, because I had a lot of fun with this film, and I think fans of Marvel will have fun too. It's action-packed, it's fucking hilarious, it's one of the funniest movies this year, and it's just insane. There are so many over-the-top insane moments in this movie that makes me just laugh to think that Disney actually made this. Like, the opening scene of this movie might be my favorite scene in the movie. It is so fucking fun, it's hilarious, and you could tell these writers obviously understand that they're poking fun of a lot of things. They're poking fun of the actual actors and the overall situation that we're in with the MCU. And that's when the movie is so much fun. And speaking of the actors, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are great here. They have fantastic chemistry. It is so fun to watch those two banter back and forth and then beat the piss out of each other. But there's more to their characters, and I really liked what they did there. But it's something I feel like a lot of people have been waiting to see on screen, and this didn't disappoint because those two were definitely the best parts about this film. It's paced pretty well, it's rarely ever boring, and the action here I loved because it was brutal, over the top, violent, bloody, R-rated shit that we want to see in a Deadpool movie, and I'm glad Disney didn't hold them back, pump the brakes at all, because the violence in here is so over the top, but it's so satisfying. And there's some flashes of character development here, some moments that I actually really liked, even though sometimes they feel a little underdeveloped. But by the end, there are parts where it does feel like it pays off. But like I said, some of it does feel a little underdeveloped, and I wish they kind of beefed that up a tiny bit more. Those are all the good things I can say about Deadpool and Wolverine. And I don't want you guys to freak out or anything, because I did have fun with this film, and I think it is a worthy MCU addition and a worthy Deadpool sequel. But I'm not going to lie, this film kind of disappointed me. But I will say, this is definitely one of my more favorite MCU projects since Endgame. I know that's not saying much, but I gotta give credit where credit's due. I think my biggest issue with this film is the overall plot. I don't think the plot itself is bad. Like, what they're trying to do makes sense, and you can have a lot of fun and put some really great moments into that plot. But this film almost feels like the plot gets lost in itself, and it feels like the story is just writing itself as it's going along. Like, there's flashes throughout the film where I could see what they're trying to do, but then there are moments where I'm like, it just feels like we're doing this so that we can have our nostalgic member-berry moment here. That, like I said before, I think fans are really going to have fun with. I had fun with some of those moments too, but it felt like sometimes the plot just took a pause so that we can emphasize on some of that stuff. And that's what I mean when I say sometimes it feels like the plot gets lost within itself, because it's prioritizing this nostalgic part of the story rather than some of the actual story beats. And that can make the film overall feel a little clunky, a little disjointed. But I can't lie, there are moments where it is really fun and you kind of forget what is actually going on. But then there are points where you're like, all right, come on, let's get going. It feels like we've kind of stalled here. We got to get back to that objective that sometimes it's easy to forget about. I don't know, sometimes I use the term laundry list for movies, and that's never really a good thing. Like, it seems like studios have a laundry list of things that they want in their movie before they actually write the movie. And this film felt like it definitely had that laundry list type of vibe. Some of it doesn't work, but some of it does work, and it's a lot of fun, and they're very self-aware of what they're doing, which makes it even more fun. So overall for me, this film was a lot of fun, and it is fun in that way where you kind of turn your brain off and appreciate what they're doing here, because it does feel like that love letter to that Fox era of Marvel that I'm sure fans will love. But sometimes the film focuses a little too much on those elements, and it does feel like it kind of forgets and it gets lost within its own story. So I'll put it this way. I had a lot of fun with Deadpool and Wolverine. I think it's a fun summer movie, a good addition to the MCU. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are incredible. And it is filled with truly insane, over-the-top, violent, hilarious moments that I'm sure Marvel fans are going to love and be talking about for years, because this film does feel like a love letter to that early era of Marvel. But for me, I was a little disappointed because it feels like this film was struggling to be its own movie. So will this film save the MCU? I'm not really sure, and I guess we'll see. I'm going to give Deadpool and Wolverine 7.5 Davey Daves. Out of all the Deadpool movies, this might be third for me. I'd have to rewatch and, compare it to Deadpool 2, because Deadpool 1 is definitely my favorite. But I don't know, maybe I'm not the majority in this, and people are gonna fucking love this movie, and it's gonna make $1 million, and it's gonna be the best movie of the year and best superhero movie of all time. But I don't know. I've got my issues. So, Deadpool and Wolverine. Let me know what you guys thought of it once you've seen it. I'm curious to hear. And thank you so much for watching. Click here to see more of Dave's Takes.